and more people coming in. Okay. Okay, we can start. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, dear friends and colleagues. My name is Oksana Klimenko. I'm from Russia. I'm the Vice President of International Project Management Association, responsible for standards and certification. And I am the Deputy of the Program Committee of the World Congress of IPMA. So today we are having the exciting journey to explore about the career in project management. And I welcome all of you with warm greetings at our webinar that was organized for promotion our IPMA World Congress. And the World Congress takes place very soon in September 2021. The World Congress will be delivered in two formats. One possible way to attend is online. So you will take part in the exciting journey for 3 days, exploring all the program, talking with the speakers, listening to your colleagues, presenting your own papers. Great opportunities for you to attend this Congress. And for those who are coming to St. Petersburg, we have offline or on-site program as well. There are lots of panel discussions, round tables, meetings, presenters. So it will be a fantastic journey with these two possible formats. So I kindly invite you to attend the World Congress. And greeting again, thank you for joining our webinar. The topic of the webinar is about career and project management, and this is related to our one stream of the Congress program. This is all about people in project management. So if you would like to know more about people stream and people program in the Congress, you may join this stream. And I'm glad to introduce the colleague of mine, Martina Huemann. She is today the chief moderator. Martina has a very great expertise in human resources and project management. She is a professor at Vienna University of Economics and Business. She's also been serving since 2003 in the board of Project Management Association in Austria. And she is also a training and consultant with co-managing Enable to Change. This is a network of experts who are bringing the strategy into action through projects, programs, and portfolios. Since 2018, Martina is the editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Project Management. And today, Martina, with her team, will present our webinar that will be interactive, and I kindly invite you to participate actively. Let me introduce our official sponsor of the Congress. This is our partner, engineering division of Rosatom, the state corporation of Russian Federation. And of course, they prepare also the program where you can join and participate if you are interested in these topics regarding this industry and sharing the experience with each other. As I said, IPMA World Congress will take place in September 2021, and you have the information on our website. So go to the website and join. And I'm happy now to give the floor to Martina and the team. Hello, Martina. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Thank you, Oksana, for starting us up. Also a very warm welcome from my side. In this session, we will talk about careers in project management. And as the title says, whether it is an opportunity. And I have actually invited a couple of guests here, project managers that are in the middle of their career or at the end of their career. You'll see it's a good mixture of people here, very international, and we will talk. I have prepared questions, and we will talk about their careers and their career stories. They will share their career stories with us. And we will also engage you in the conversation. Yeah, I'm also leading the Professional MBA in Project Management at VU Vienna. And therefore, I have been able to not only research career in project management, but also have been able to observe and help and support many people in getting a good career in project management and getting it started. So, but let's see how our guests are. And I warmly welcome Natalia. Natalia is originally from Colombia. Fatma, originally from ex-Yugoslavia. Roberto from Italy, he is our senior in this group, and Michaela from Austria. And as I said, we have prepared a quite interactive program for you. And let me now introduce to you guests in a little bit more detail. Natalia, she founded in 2013, I think it was, the first symphony orchestra in Austria that is specialized in film and video game music, called the Max Steiner Orchestra. She has worked as an artistic project manager for the world of Hans Zimmer, a symphonic celebration. And that was performed in more than 40 cities around the world. And so she had the opportunity to work with several Hollywood award-winning composers. And Natalie can share a lot of her experience as a project manager in the music industry. Natalia, good to have you here. And I have been invited because you might not be considered as the mainstream project manager.
Thank you, Martina. Thank you.
So Natalia, what does your business card say?
Managing director and founder, and then the Max Steiner Orchestra.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Fatma, he leads the R&D department at Bühler, Austria, being responsible for more than 30 research and development projects with an annual budget of about 5 million euros. His background is engineering physics, and he's passionate about leadership and project management and holds a PhD from the Technical University in Vienna and the MBA in project management at Vienna. Fatma, what does your business card say?
Department head R&D and deputy head of product and portfolio management, Bühler, Austria.
Yeah, great to have you here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Roberto, as I said before, you are our senior here in this group with a very extensive background in project management of international turnkey projects of industrial plants, especially in the oil and gas industry. You're nowadays chair of the IPMA Ethics Committee and still director of special projects in Tenova, the world leader for iron, steel, and mining, material handling technologies. And Roberto, many of us also know that you have been a former IPMA president. So Roberto, what does your business card say nowadays? Roberto, you're probably mute still.
I beg your pardon. Thank you, Martina. My business card is very simple. Nowadays, it says member of the Ethics Committee of IPMA. Along with that, there are a number of former and past that you already mentioned.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And last but not least, Michaela, we two have known each other for quite a while from a lot of activities you have performed with the Austrian IPMA Young Crew, and you're also internationally very active with the IPMA Young Crew. And Michaela's background is that she studied molecular biology. So maybe also not something you expect to become a project manager. And she's now working as a project manager in a French-Austrian biotech company for developing vaccines. Michaela, what does your business card say?
Hi, Martina. Thanks for the introduction. My business card says Vienna, Austria, Clinical Project Manager, Department of Clinical Operations.
Yeah, great. Great to have you all here. And let us just go further with Michaela. What is your background? Can you explain it a little bit in more detail?
Yes, sure. So as you said, I studied molecular biology, really with a focus on genetics and developmental biology. So it was a lot of research activities, and I did my master thesis in a cancer lab. And then afterwards, I decided I don't want to do a PhD or a postdoc and go the academic way, but I want to rather change into industry. So I looked around for jobs, and I was lucky to get into a job at a clinical research organization. So it's a company that monitors clinical studies. So you basically visit clinical sites and doctors who participate in studies, and you see that they're doing all the clinical study according to regulations and according to what, you know, the ethics and all the legal code basically says for clinical studies. And then my business card said clinical monitor and project manager. And I thought, okay, I don't even know what a project manager does. I have to somehow get involved into project management to even know what I have to do in this job, really. That's why I started Googling and found the PMA Austria and joined the Young Crew network, because I figured if there are people that have an interest in project management, I might as well learn something from them. I didn't want to go the, you know, academic way of doing courses in project management. I'm more the hands-on person. So I thought a network of people working in project management is probably going to be very helpful for me. And I think it has, because the next job that I got after the first one was actually already as this clinical project manager. And now I'm really responsible for my own real huge clinical study that I'm basically managing as a, you know, 3-person show. And it's, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So Roberto, what is your background?
Thank you, Martina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I have been, I would say, for more than 50 years after my university graduation in mechanical engineering. I have been involved always in industrial plants executed by an engineering company, a multinational engineering company, and the main contractor. And this type of projects, the so-called EPC, engineering, procurement, and constructions, are projects completely realized by a company that does not produce anything, just know-how, drawings, and above all, organization. That means project management. And I have been covering the function in my long career as project manager, project director, portfolio manager, operations manager, procurement director, but always linked and in the context of projects worth, I would say, between 50 million up to above 1 billion. Project called turnkey, that means that the company is responsible for all the activities of whatever kind since the beginning up to the end of the project, and to provide the end customer with the key of the plant ready to produce.
Yeah, and how have you become really involved into project management then?
It's a good question, considering when it happened. Just more than 50 years ago, I was leaving the office at night. At that time, I was acting as a project engineer in the technical department, and at that time was my boss. After some years, he became managing director of the company, and some of you have known him. I'm talking about Luigi Perti, the chairman of the World Congress in Rome. He called me I was getting out, says, Mr. Mori, tomorrow you will be the project manager of this new project. I was not even aware of what project manager meant at that time. There were no training courses, there were no books, there were no teaching people. And I started just by doing the training on the job that you know very well is very much effective, but is also very, very dangerous and risky and challenging. And I would say that the first courses that I followed, really, I was there as a teacher more than as a student. All what I learned on the job, on the real life.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this with us. Fatma, what is your background in detail and how did you become involved in project management?
Two good questions. Very similar actually to Michaela's and Roberto answers, maybe those two combined. First, my background is science. I'm a physicist. I have been working at CERN, where I did my PhD CERN in Geneva, particle accelerator. And during this time, I actually realized, I want to go more to industry and try it out there. I didn't do it immediately after my master thesis. I took a step longer than Michaela. So I did it after my PhD. And I was happy, actually, I was lucky to join a very interesting project at that time. It was building a particle accelerator in Austria for pure medical treatment of cancer, so for cancer therapy. Very detailed, very focused particles, so you can bring it exactly to the tumor. And then, exactly as what happened to Roberto, it's really funny to see this also here. I also got a call from my boss, who was at that time the managing director, and he told me, listen, I would like you to take over the project management. This was 5 years into the job. At that time, I was leading a small team. We were only responsible for part of the accelerator. And then I was asked to do the same thing. Same thing, didn't have any project management experience so far, no training. So it was a jump into the cold water and learning on the job. And the project was already well advanced and already on a critical path. There was no time to do a proper project management training and then start a project again. So in the beginning, it was a lot of firefighting. And then only with time, I could manage to get it some kind of an order, some kind of proper project management afterwards. So yeah, that project went for 10 years. It got successfully finalized. Patients are treated as we speak right now. So this is a very good success for all of us. And then I started to look for new challenges. And one of them was actually to get some proper training in project management. So I joined your course at the University of Economics in Austria. And afterwards, I joined Bühler, Austria now, where we are dealing with not one big project, but several small projects. You mentioned before, it's up to 30 development projects which we are dealing with. And I'm leading a small team of about 10 project managers. And together with them, we are actually having a quite broad portfolio of competences and projects in our hands.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing, Fatma. Yeah, Natalia, you have a very different background in comparison to the others. What is your story? What led you to project management?
Well, hello, everybody. Even though it's a completely different content, is a very similar process. I also kind of grow into, I study music composition with specialization in film music. And I started working at the end of my studies at a film music festival in Vienna called Hollywood in Vienna, where I had the opportunity to meet the award-winning Oscar composers. And I started arranging the missing parts or adaptation that were necessary for the concerts. And then I kind of grew into a music supervisor, supervising the whole quality, and then organizing the other composers that were adapting. So I kind of had to lead a little team And then at the same time, I founded the first film music orchestra in Austria. So I was having projects from that side too. And it all became very, very chaotic. And I was, as Fatma said, like shutting down fire. But inside me, I knew there must be a way and a structured way of doing this. So I Googled, like Michaela, what to do, and I found the VU, the University of Economics of Vienna, and then I went there and asked if that might be what I'm looking for, and it was exactly the clarity and structure I was looking, and that's how I grew. And after my MBA finished, they did actually gave me the title of artistic project manager for bigger projects. So it grew from little tasks to bigger and bigger and bigger. Very organic, without me expecting. Yes.
Yeah, so despite, as you say, there are so many different backgrounds we have, what you all share is your love for projects and how you actually came involved into project management. Yeah, I was wondering, actually, Roberto, you spent your entire career in project management. Is it still exciting, or was it still exciting? You are now retired. Was it still exciting at the end?
Definitely yes. I am, I would say, officially retired, but as you know, or many of you know, I am been still working until I would say a few weeks ago, and for some more than professional but social or personal project, I am still involved, and I am still enjoying doing that, because of the fact that as we know, and you as a teacher and professor and PhD teacher know very well, the project, any project, is a change, is like a prototype, at least for some, in some respects. And therefore, this possibility to face continuously new experiences, a new way of doing things, meeting people, and working in an environment that, in spite of all the methodologies and competencies, will be affected by a huge, mainly in these troubled times, number of unknowns, to me is something challenging, and I am happy and enjoying as I was decades ago. And for me, this is a very important aspect, because as a matter of fact, I think that the basis of all the competencies and the skills could be the passion to apply them and to face all the challenges. Without passion, and I am happy that I still feel that.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, Michaela, what expectations did you have when you entered the project management career, and were they fulfilled?
Expectations. I'm not really sure I had a lot of expectations at that time. But I think it turned out really positive, and now I'm totally hooked onto this area of project management, because I think I really, I love to work with people, and I love, as Roberto says, everyday challenges and a little bit of a change. I don't like any monotonous activity, and I think that the project management per se never gets to a monotonous point. At least I don't think it ever will. And that's why I think my expectations in this case were more than met when I started to really get into this project management. And yeah, in the beginning, I did not have any idea about what it means, really. It sounded fancy. That's what I can say. And yeah, I think the everyday challenges and the changes and the different people you work with, that's really the part I like a lot about project management.
Mm-hmm. And Fatma, how was it with you? What expectations did you have, and were they fulfilled?
Similar to Michaela's maybe as well. In the beginning, I think project management was for me just a tool to get a result, right? So my expectations was more towards the content. I wanted the particle accelerator to be built. And the project management was for me a vehicle to get from beginning to the end of the project. But in the meanwhile, I do see, based on the many experience which I have done so far in projects, that if you want to get something done, the project is the right way to go. Especially because it kind of gives you the possibility to organize yourself, to organize your environment in which you're working with, and to work there with. So this is my expectations now for the project management, actually, which I see that it's a tool which actually works, and I use it wherever I can.
Super. Yeah, I thought we will also engage the audience, and this is now what we are going to do. And what we have prepared is these or some Slido questions. Just give me a couple of seconds to be able to share them with you. So here they are. Dear audience, first question to you. What is your background? You can find the questions at slido.com, and you have the number here to enter. So please go to our Slido pool and answer a couple of questions. This is the first one to come. So we also get a feeling what background we have here in the audience. Okay, first answers coming in. So might be a very diverse group, actually, as I also expected. Education, others, consulting, training, there's nobody yet. Goes a little bit further. Most people seem to be in business and change. Yeah, please don't be shy. Just fill out the questionnaire. There will be more questions to come. Yeah, I would say quite spread out now. One more person in engineering, business change, information technology, construction. I think nowadays you can really see that project management has really rolled out through the entire project types. There's not only technical projects anymore, but there's a lot of organization development projects, product development projects. So it's not only kind of plans and constructions and buildings where you have project management applied, but it's kind of everything. Yeah, it goes actually in all types of industries, and helps actually, and this is, who knows me might have heard that already from me, helps people to create the future of the company. And if it comes to organization development and product development, especially, so all development projects. But as Roberto said before, every project has a change component included. Yeah, and so project and project management, therefore, is so important for also creating the future. Okay, let's see the next question. What are your three main motivators to be a project manager? So share with us your main motivators for being a project manager. That will also be a question our guests will answer in a couple of minutes. So not sure what the number should mean. I think that's the number of our Slido poll. Mm-hmm. Yeah, results, getting things done. Michaela, do you want to help interpreting the picture that is coming up?
I could try.
Please.
Yeah, so it seems that results and efficiency really are the main motivators for people here. And then I definitely see as social, like people, teamwork, leadership. But still, you know, very much what Fatma said, the goal and the delivery as well, results, achieving goals seems to be the critical part why people want to be or are working in project management, or what's their motivator.
Yeah, for me, that is not so surprising, because our research has also shown that one of the main motivators to being engaged in projects and in project management is actually to be very close to the end results. Yeah, so you see actually what your work is contributing to. And that is actually one of the main motivators. Yeah, that you see the end result of the project. So see that not only kind of in the poor sense of result, yeah, or achieving the objective, but also very much in kind of a meaningful work, yeah, having making sense of that, what you're contributing, and being able to lead a team into a certain direction. Yeah,
yeah. So also the word like engagement, right, and sort of fits into that then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
may I add that one word which I really like here is the sustainable solutions. I think that the project per se is defined as something which is temporarily limited, of course. There's a start and there's an end, but the impact of the project has to be considered as well. And this goes well beyond the time of the project. And this is what I see under sustainability as well. So this input I found very, very good.
Yeah, so sustainability can be seen as also using actually the end product of the project in a meaningful way, that it is accepted. So sustainability considering of several dimensions, but also the economic and the social and the ecologic dimension, they are kind of playing a role in that. Okay. Let's move on to our next question. What is your main challenge in your career as a project manager? What is your main challenge? What would you consider as your main challenge?
Now I'm curious what the answers will be.
Yeah, so what I can see so far is quite some challenges that come out of the nature of the project. Yeah, as project is temporary, that also means that if one project is closed, you need to go for the next project and find yourself a job. And the other, what I'm also seeing is the maturity of the organization, that somebody said governance issues. So how good equipped is actually the organization that you're working for to do projects that will support your project work and therefore also the career better or less good. And what I also saw is challenge stakeholder engagement, leadership engagement, meeting stakeholder expectations. Also take people effectively. So kind of all the people aspect that comes with the project work. And with project management, you actually need to be a really, really good leader. Yeah, so I always say that the leadership challenge that comes with projects is actually more challenging than the leadership challenge you have in a line organization. In a line organization, we have a relatively stable team. In a project, you need to bring everybody together very, very quickly to ramp up the team, to give a direction, to give orientation. And of course, you have stakeholders with very, very different expectations. And to kind of find the right approach of engaging them or kind of keeping them out a little bit, managing for and managing of stakeholders, that is really challenging. What I also saw was some of you said that the work-life balance, to balance out your private life, also with the challenges on the project, that is for some people quite challenging. It will also depend on how many projects you are leading. If you are leading a lot of small projects and they kind of peak at the same time, that might become quite challenging for you. It's also about the multitasking. So stress very often does not come from the single project, but stress comes from that you are engaged in multiple projects and also in the line task at the same time. This is where stress comes from, changing task from task to task. But of course, also a big project can be in a very hot phase, and then it needs all the concentration to get it done.
Can I add something here, Martina?
Please.
I think or at least for me, the work-life balance is difficult if you feel very responsible for your project. It's sort of like your baby, so you're available 100% of the time. That's, I think, for me, personally, the difficulty with work-life balance then.
Yeah. So it also kind of teaches us to set a boundary and to kind of protect a little bit also ourselves, and not maybe if we are so engaged and also emotional engaged with the projects, to not go over our possibilities.
Yeah, I have an experience related to that. I had several projects in the music industry because this music is slash.
Natalia, can you speak a little louder, please?
A little louder, better? Yes, so I had a lot of projects at the same time, one time, and I was very overwhelmed and I was getting sick. So I went to the doctor and told him I need a stronger pill or whatever he can give me because I need tomorrow to show up and the day after tomorrow. And he knew I am a musician, and he said, look, music also needs silence in some places, otherwise there's no music. And I think it can be a very nice metaphor. Like, I was like, that's true. You cannot go louder, louder, louder. It needs to vary between silence and not so loud and louder. And that metaphor really touched me. So from that time, I was also very sick, and I was kind of pushed to balance a lot better. Yes, so that was a very important part for me too.
Yeah,
Martina, if I can add to Natalia's, that night that I mentioned where Luigi Perti told me from tomorrow you will be, he gave me just one suggestion. And still today, I think that has been the most important suggestion I ever received. He just told me, and remember, to be a good project manager, you must find the time to think. That means to have the silence even between the different pieces of music. To think and to reflect in a way not feeling completely involved in the daily routine of all the challenges. If I may add also about the challenges in the career, I would just bring the experience of something that is unusual, but I had the experience, the bad experience, to find the company twice involved in such a kind of challenge. For two big projects in the 80s and early 90s in two different countries of a similar culture, that is, the client changed their minds during the implementation of the projects and did not want to achieve the completion of the project and found searching every day excuses to delay and delay and delay without taking the responsibility to sit around the table and negotiate new conditions. And still today, I think that to fight against the customer will is one of the worst situations a project manager could find himself or herself in. I don't know whether any of our attendees today did have a similar experience in their career.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that is now becoming a little bit more emotional. Fatma, do you want to add something here also?
Let me unmute myself first. Yes, Martina, as you remember, when it comes to 2 points, the stress, I would like to mention something. As you remember, we have I have done a master thesis during my MBA exactly on project managers and stress. And here we've done a couple of interviews with experienced project managers. And one thing which really struck me was that many of them actually, when they were just before or actually already stressed, didn't realize that they're getting stressed. For them, this was a very slow progress, and every day it comes a little bit more tough and more tough until eventually, if it gets really bad, they break. So this is where I can really relate to Natalia and Roberto. You need.
Fatma, you are mute.
Natalia?
Fatma, we can't hear you anymore.
Maybe he can also not hear us.
Yeah, he cannot hear us, so he's talking to us, but
we have to sign language.
We cannot hear you. Okay. Try again.
Something went wrong?
Ah, now we can hear you.
Now it works again?
Repeat the last 30 seconds.
I cannot hear you though. Great.
So what you said, Fatma, was when you did your master thesis, you looked into stress, and then we could not hear after you said that people they were gradually going into stress, but they did not kind of realize it.
He seems to not hear us either.
No, he doesn't hear us. Okay, maybe we come back to him a little bit later while he's trying to...
Back, I think. I can hear you again.
Ah, you can hear us again. Okay.
I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah.
So what did I miss?
Well, we heard you till you said that people did not realize that they are getting into stress.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. Yes, and this is for me the important thing as well, to take your time to get some distance to the project. This will help you with your work-life balance. At the same time, it will also allow you to get a different perspective onto the project, because you will have time to think, to articulate your thoughts on it, and maybe get a different view. So this is the one thing. And the second thing, what I wanted to say, Roberto mentioned that it's difficult to work with customers. I fully agree with that. I would just like to extend it and say with sponsors. Also internally, project concept, project targets can change, and the project sponsor, even if he's not a customer, will not find the time or will not find the time to communicate this clearly to you and to negotiate the budget and the timeline from beginning on.
Yeah, after we have now talked so much about actually stress and the challenges, my question to you guys is now, so what is fun? What is fun in project management? Roberto, do you want to start? What is the fun component?
Not only for fun, the most important component, and we have seen also in the replies from our colleagues to the question that you raised in the poll, that people is named so many times in a way or the other, and projects without a proper people involvement and management could not succeed. What in all the years that I managed project abroad, I found fun and personal interest was dealing with different cultures. I have seen many replies looking about the challenge to lead or to coordinate multicultural teams. For me, this has been a richness, and I detected the top of the hill of this richness when I started to be involved with the IPMA world, where I found really a lot of fun, intellectual fun, not only personal, to deal with so many people, so many cultures, and to find the best way out in order to take the maximum out of the contribution for all the cultures, personal and social cultures of all the teammates of any project team. For me, this has been the most important fun, along, of course, with the possibility to go around in the world and checking how much different could be to deal with the technically similar project, but realized and implemented in different contexts, geographical, political, cultural, and people. And this is still today for me the highest source of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Roberto. Natalia,
Thank you.
What's the fun part for you?
Well, what I like the most is to use different project management tools to the same problem or issue or challenge, and see the same thing from different perspectives. And then you like when you see, there is a famous saying, the elephant, and then you see only the ear, and then you only see, and then you apply another method, and then you see from up, then you see from far, then you see from very close, and at the end you have a completely new perspective of the whole. So I like this change of perspectives, like it's an illusion but it's reality. So I really like that. That is really fun for me. And yeah, and also that every project is unique and that you can adapt to anything. Well, I don't have much experience with a lot, but till now I could adapt everything to what I needed, and it's like clay, and that's also really fun to adapt and see how it works and how it flows, and that this has no limits. That's really fun too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Fatma, what do you say?
I fully agree with Roberto and Natalia of this as well. What I personally find the most interesting thing about the project is it's never boring. It's really never boring, and I need that. I need to go to a job where I am constantly challenged. And actually, you know, when you think about project management, and if you really want to do it theoretically, it's enough to set up a timetable and a task list, and then your job is actually done at that time, right? But then the reality comes and hits you really hard, and it hits you every day. So your job is actually, as a project manager, a constant struggle to make these two worlds meet, right? On the one side, the structure, you have your timetable, you have your task list, and the other side, the pure chaos, just by, you know, the project never being in a single, project never being as you planned it to be. And this I find interesting, and yeah, it's never really boring. So this keeps me going.
Yeah, and Michaela, what can you add here from your perspective?
I can just add on to what everybody else said. I think for me, the best moment in a project is when I think everybody on your team certainly feels this drive to have the same goal and just get going on the same idea. So once you have everyone really pull on the same string to sort of get to the goal, I think that's the one moment that I think in every project is, for me personally, the really motivating and the best moment in a project.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes, I also like that. So myself, I'm not only consulting organizational and change projects, but I'm also doing research projects on my own. Nowadays more as a project owner and less as a project manager. But I think this is really a moment that gives a lot of satisfaction. Yeah. So this is very much where you see the power of the people and the power what you can achieve as a team. So okay, what we have now discussed with you is our perception. So thank you for being with us. What we have now in preparation is actually that we want you to split up in small groups, and Alena will support us. So we will groups of about 5-6 people. And the question is to you, and you will have twice 10 minutes. So it's kind of speed dating. Yeah. So the idea that you have a possibility of networking with the others, networking with us, but also networking with the other audience. And the idea is here to now exchange your experience on project management careers and also share some tips. So remain with us, stay with us, engage in the groups, take the opportunity, and Alena will kind of invite us to the groups. You will have the possibility of twice 10 minutes, and then we meet again here in the plenary. Okay, so thank you for engaging in these groups, and thank you for coming back to join us in the plenary. Yeah, is there anything you would like to share out of the groups?
I was talking to myself mainly, so
we had one good question in my breakout room, and this was about and this is what I asked, say that we will also bring it to plenum one more time. What will there be any influence on project management tools, skills after COVID, in the post-COVID time? Will there be any changes how we do projects, and will there be some adaptations to it?
Yeah, interesting question.
I found so too.
Yeah. Is there any opinion on that? Anybody who would like to take the mic and share? Eric, please go ahead.
I think so. I'm a teacher now at university in Sweden in a master degree in project management, and I think the last year we have adapted our teaching quite a lot due to COVID. And the new element is that all students, they need to learn how to build teams online with people they will never meet, global teams. Maybe if you're a project manager in Sweden, you will interact with Indians, Chinese, and so on your team. So this requires new tools of collaboration that we did not use in the past. So we're experimenting a lot at university to how to create this interactivity. So for sure, there is a new demand that was not so strong before because we could still travel. And I think in the future, it will be very exclusive. Some people will still justify business trip, but for most people, as we found out, they can collaborate even if it's not the same quality. So then you need to compensate because nevertheless the human contact is the most important for successful project. And we need, so just now the experience in the breakout rooms, in 2 of the rooms, I was alone putting on the camera and the mic. And that's an absolute no-go. So we teach our students, we exclude them if they're not on camera, because this is the minimum that we at least see each other. We lose so much of the body language, other things, but just as an example that we need to find all ways. So this, I think, will be a development. We need to find better tools and more interactive tools and make it more fun and so on.
Eric, I totally agree. Yeah, so we also, in the professional MBA in project management, but also in my regular studies, well, everybody who is in education had to transfer into online teaching. I mean, there was not much a choice. And I think if you would have asked me, I don't know, 1.5 years ago, if I can do my project management teaching online, I would have said never ever, Eric, never ever. I'm not going to go that route. But being forced, that makes one creative, and being forced to do so, I think what I understood is that I'm teaching people now different skills. I'm not using flip charts and Post-its and so on, but we are using collaboration platforms, and it's a different way of working, but very essential, and that will provide them really and make them fit for the future. Yeah, as you say, bringing teams together online is challenging, allowing for, and there's some small tips, yeah, just allowing for some chit chat in between, yeah, just from informal talking. And I was also a little bit surprised here in these groups that people were rather shy to talk in the small groups and making themselves visible. So I think there's still a lot to do for getting also in that mindset that this will be just a new normal. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, so coming to a conclusion, and yeah, I have also shared 2 scholarships in the chat for the professional MBA. One is for CNET people and the others is for young professionals. So if you're interested, please just download it and have a look on them. And so coming to the final round, going back to Fatma, Michaela, Natalia, Roberto, but everybody can join in who would like to say something. What is your tip for a successful project management career?
Maybe I can start with that.
please.
I think successful project, to be a successful project management career is if you're doing good projects, right? So if you are good in your project management, you will make a career in project management. Now, in order to do that, I think it's not just, first of all, of course, get the results done. But this is not the only thing. This is the functional part of project management. I think also what you need to do is to make sure that these results are also seen, recognized, and taken as they are good results. And for this, you need to talk about your projects and communicate about them. Tell everyone who wants to hear about this or not hear about this that you are doing this project, and try to get as many opportunities as possible to present your projects and the results achieved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
I would like to say, so for me, not having worked in project management this long, I think to really get started in it, it's really just don't be afraid. It's really, sometimes it's a bit, diving in and just trying it out a little bit, at least it feels that way. But I like the, get your hands dirty, get working. And I think that's always a tip that I give in the Austrian Young Crew also. It's like, sometimes you make mistakes and things don't run smoothly from the start, but I think you grow and learn with all the experience, and it just helps you along the way to get a better project manager. That's my tip.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I agree with Farmer and with Michaela. I would add, starting from the basic consideration that project management is the more transversal discipline of all nowadays, and therefore is the one that would allow a good project manager or a good project management team member to be involved in project in all the sector of the public, private, social project. Therefore, I think that apart from getting acquainted with all the competencies and the theoretical part, and the fact that the competencies are not exactly the same for all the business sectors, because different sectors require different mix of competencies. But above all, I think that to be part of a good project management team in a company or in an area or in an organization that is well equipped, well organized for working by projects would be the best way to start to become a good project manager, joining theoretical and practical part at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Eric, you raised your hand.
Just want to build on what Roberta says, because our master degree in project management in Sweden is a broad one, so you can have any basic education. It could be engineering, psychology, healthcare, hospital, whatever. So there is not one success story, but what we try to teach the students is that they have to tell us, what project manager do I want to be? So what is their strength as a project manager? What did they want to achieve? And then you have to tailor make the education for that need. And the requirements, there are some basic elements they all need, but they're very different specializations. So I think that's the most important, to basically combine project management with some other field. And this combination, the more fields you can combine, the better. But just project management in isolation, I think is not the best option.
Well, project management is about a management approach. Yeah, it misses the content. Yeah, so it tells you how to do something, but not what to do. Yeah, so I totally agree. And this is why I find it also so appealing that we have project managers as guests with very, very different backgrounds. Yeah, that really showcases that whether you are originally a composer like Natalia, or have studied I already forget again, Michaela, what it is, natural science study, yeah, or engineering, or whatever you have as a first background, or if you're in organizational development or in business administration, it does not matter. The important is that this gives you the adequate combination to be a good project manager. Yeah, totally agree, Eric.
Martina, Eric was in my group, and he was telling me that there is two musician background teaching project manager in Sweden. Did I understood correctly?
Yeah, at our university, out of 8 teachers, 2 are professional musicians as a starting of the career. So we have a third one is a psychologist, and then there are some from IT. I'm from business administration, so even the teacher team is very diverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that makes sense, absolutely. So, Alena, can you show us the last slide?
Martina, I think there is a question still in the chat.
There's a question, okay. Maybe
yes, from Achai.
Yeah.
It's, do we have any tools to measure the project management competence?
Okay, that opens up another webinar. So, please just send me an email and we can discuss that outside this webinar. Yeah. So 2 minutes before that, I'm not going to kind of, yes, there are many. And if you're really interested in, just approach me per email. So, yeah, as you can see here, we are coming to an end, and my final tip, if you want to approach and pursue a project management career and stay with it, is stay up to date in your competencies. What I mean with that is, of course, the content competencies, but also the project management competencies. Look for a mentor. Yeah, so mentorship was one of the most important career possibilities, or career supporters, that's the word for it, for project managers. That is what we found out in one of our career research. And when I'm talking about the mentor can come from your own organization, or very often the person might you might not find a visible person in your own organization. Then it can also come from your outside network. And this is why networking, not only within the organization, but also networking beyond your organization in associations like the Young Crew, or also the IPMA World Congress as a networking opportunity, is a career booster, more or less. Yeah. So this is why I warmly welcome you to the World Congress in St. Petersburg, and I would be happy to see many of you there. Thank you very much for this webinar, and I hope you enjoyed it.